of the Week. ABC presents an original motion picture produced especially for the Movie of the Week. Tonight on the Movie of the Week.
May I introduce myself? My name is Kolchak of the Daily Chronicle.
Kolchak reports the bizarre, the supernatural, the unexplainable.
You again is another crazy story.
This nut thinks he is a vampire.
You know what I call that? Irresponsible yellow journalism.
He has killed 4, maybe 5 women. I saw that so-called super killer wipe up the streets with your so-called police force.
They don't want any help from amateur bloodhounds like you.
I've been a reporter for 22 years.
I've been a police officer for 30.
Well, then why don't you retire? Each man in the field is issued one of these and one of these.
Are you suggesting that we pound one of these into Skorzeny's chest?
No, into his heart.
Darren McGavin, the Night Stalker.
Yes, I left the entire promo in because I just love that beginning. It brings back memories, doesn't it, from 54 years ago. Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your agent of awesome and your host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today, of course, we are reviewing the 1972 ABC TV movie of the week, The Night Stalker, starring Darren, you know who it stars, Darren McGavin, and among many other people. It was a huge success, and it's very, very well done. It's amazing for a 75-minute movie. But before we get too much further into it, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, so we can now get on with the show. Look at that old tape recorder. Anyway, we begin the movie with Carl Kolchak, former reporter in Nevada, in Las Vegas, Nevada, narrating his last adventure here. Looking disheveled, he's in a hotel room. Somehow he's got money for all that stuff. And he's talking about Vegas and what's going on there. This poor woman who gets literally grabbed right off the street, and they find her body in a dumpster. There she is, drained of blood. And that's the coroner's team there looking at it, and we'll find out who one of those coroners is here in a moment. This is The Night Stalker, based on The Night Stalker by Jeff Rice, teleplay by Richard Matheson. We talked about him before in the past. And it's Dan Curtis produced it, him of Dark Shadows and Gargoyles. I think I have to redo Gargoyles as well, which I'm looking forward to because it's such a great movie like this one. And the budget was $450,000 in 1972, equivalent to over $3.5 million in 2025. And it was released on January 11th, 1972. Now, for some reason, I didn't see this movie or The Night Strangler, the sequel, but I did watch The Night Stalker, Kolchak, The Night Stalker, when it came out a year later. I believe a year later, and sadly was such a short-lived, only 20 episodes, and we'll get to it because it's so good. This was in 74, 2 years later, so yeah, I was older, 9, and even then it was scary. But be that as it may, there he is, and there is the head coroner there, Larry Linville as Dr. Robert Mukherjee. I think he's the head coroner because he gets the most screen time, but that is Frank Burns himself. Probably this was made right before he started MASH. So he's very serious in here. He's a really good actor. There you go, are Barry Atwater, Larry Linville, all these people, very famous. So there's old school Vegas. This is one of the fun, again, the time capsule aspect of this, 70, probably shot in 71, but Vegas in the early 70s. Look at all that stuff. And some of it's still around. And teleplayed by Richard Matheson. There is our, the only guy who was transferred over to the series was Simon Oakland as Tony Vincenzo. And And it was unpublished at this point in time. This copy came from the Internet Archive, as did I got the Night Strangler as well, which I'll be reviewing. Let's see if Sven is going to air it. And John Llewellyn Moxley, not Moxley, because he'd be in the Death Riders stinking up the wrestling ring. But there's Carol Lindley as Gail Foster, and that is Kolchak's girlfriend. I'm trying to see what else she's been doing. She was in a lot of stuff here. Just tons of things. Maltese Bippy, Robin Sherwood. Let's see, Poseidon Adventure. I have seen that. Everything else I really have. Howling 6, The Freaks. Cat and the Canary. Yeah, stuff like that. So that's just her selected filmography. Let's see if she's in The Immortal, Alfred Hitchcock, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., The Invaders. All these things we'll get around to eventually if I have enough time. Charlie's Angels. So she's quite good here as a long-suffering, but still pretty smart. Kolchak's looking it up. Oh, they found another body. She's been drained of blood too. Dun, dun, dun. So there's blood, but it's not gory. I really enjoyed the Kolchak, the Night Stalker series. I've got it on DVD. There's a Blu-ray out now, and I'd really like to get it, but it's from Kino Lorber, I think, which, be worth it. Simon is giving him a ration, and he says, "Not a finger!" Because, of course, he is the old man.
Not a finger!
Carl and his omnipresent tape recorder are there interviewing people all over the place every time there's an attack. And then he meets his buddy, Bernie Jenks, who's one of the policemen, played by Ralph Beaker. They're at the some pool. I guess that's where Carl's staying. They had to page him to answer the phone. Mr. Kolchak, please answer the white paging telephone. Please come to a white paging telephone. And there's another one. He's like, "Yep, here we go." So once again, old school Las Vegas, 3-lane highway. Who knows which direction that is? From the mountains, so that's probably headed west. That's my guess. And there he is, Ferret Face himself, before he was Ferret Face. Larry Linville has just become, someone I found out more about, and everyone loved him. He didn't want to take Frank Burns after 5 seasons of MASH any further because they couldn't, because he was a one-note character, really, but really good actor. Got a little bit typecast, but. So they're meeting with everyone, and Carl's the only one saying, "What do you got?" That guy's hitching up his belt. He's going to talk like the Duke. There's our district attorney, Tom Payne. That's Kent Smith, who looks familiar, but it's not who it is. He tells Kolchak to mind his P's and Q's. And then Bernie says, "Well, off the record, I might be able to help you." Vincenzo, and then they call him. Uh-oh. Now we're out at nighttime in Las Vegas. And this woman's daughter has just been killed and a little bloodier, but drained again of blood. 4th slaying, the Daily News. So Kolchak's been fired. The reason that he wears the same clothes, is that that's the last suit he bought. He never bought any new ones. Clothes wear out eventually. So maybe he just has really bad fashion sense. Look at that, Johnny Carson and Doc Severinsen. I don't know that. Johnny Carson was on NBC, so ABC's showing this, giving him free publicity. And there's our first look at the vampire. The vampire is Barry Atwater, who played Sarek in Savage Curtain, I believe, and Sarek the Vulcan. So he's famous for that. He was also in Kung Fu, Bat Masterson. The True Story of Jesse James, Mannix, Bewitched. The Savage Curtain, season 3, episode 22 was one of my favorites because it's got that rock monster that scared the crap out of me. He's in Night Gallery with the Doll of Death. Oh, I remember that one. And he's been in lots of things, so but he doesn't say a word in the entire show. But he's menacing. Now this poor woman, of course, he attacks her. He sends her dog, kills the dog, grabs her. More stories and more nights at there. Look at that. Okay, this is a short review, but I just like the And again, Kolchak's in trouble. Oh, our sheriff here is Sheriff Warren A. Butcher, played by Claude Akins, who would later on be another sheriff by the name of Lobo from both BJ and the Bear and the Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo. And there's Carl again and his Chippy. She's really nice. She's the one that gives him the book about the vampires, Vampire and Victim. What's this? Somebody's breaking into this poor nurse. He's stealing blood because that would be smarter than killing people. But he wipes out 4 people or 3 people, throw this guy's out right out the window. He's dead because he crunches down. He beats up people in the pathology department. Now we have a shoot 'em up. Carl runs off in his convertible, rusty convertible. This is nice stuff here. Here's our and he's got his recording. And he meets this guy here that is which one is that? I think that's Fred Hurley. Stanley Adams is Fred Hurley, maybe? No, that's not him. Where'd he go there? Well, it's Elisha Cook Jr. as Mickey Crawford. Yeah, he was in Wilmer Cook in the 1941 Maltese Falcon. And she's knitting while she's on the job. We're never quite sure what Gail's actual, what she's doing. Look at the Arco there. Boy, that was still around. Third Avenue Blues Band, Texas. They spelled it wrong, but that's all right. And now it's time for station identification, and then we'll see something really different. You are watching Xenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters on KXNO, part of the Xenorama Broadcasting Network. We now return you to our regularly scheduled program. Kolchak must have a scanner because he spins a Yui in the middle of Fremont, let's say. Off he goes to probably not in Las Vegas. And a fight breaks out with the vampire. That would be Skorzeny, Janos, probably. He's there taking pictures. People get thrown they fight in the pool, or people get thrown in the pool and they graze him with the bullet. Doesn't faze him, they shoot him. Blam, 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 blam. Pew, pew, pew. He gets away. So now everyone's talking because the cops have seen it and they're probably sworn to secrecy. Finally, they ask Kolchak, well, this is what everyone needs to be armed with, vampire killing stuff. Lots of ways to kill a vampire. Only one way to kill a werewolf. And they round on him and say, just be careful. And there's Mickey again saying, I found the house where he's staying at. That's what he was talking about earlier. And there it is. Pretty effective day for night photography there. And they find Carl. Carl goes in and finds the blood. And he hears things, goes upstairs. He finds the coffin, pulls it. There's dirt in it because the vampire has to have his native dirt. That's one of the things. Takes a picture of it, of course. Get a photo of me with it anyway. And he finds this poor woman who's still alive, but has her throat bit. Now, in the series, there's a sequel, an unknown victim that survived but became a vampire herself. Is it this one? I don't know. Maybe. But Janos Skorzeny shows up looking menacing. The use of negative space here is phenomenal. I mean, he did a great job at it. I can see why this was a huge hit. Most watched movie of the year, and which is why they got the sequel. And they actually even had a third movie in the works, but then they went forward with the show instead. Yeah, it's just he's very menacing. You wouldn't even know he was a Vulcan at one point in time. But there's the cross. It's not even a crucifix, just a cross. Because and according to Night Flight, you have to believe, but that doesn't always hold true. We will have another vampire movie coming up since Sven is reviewing Captain Kronos Vampire Hunting next Saturday. And, fangs look good. Tries to kill Kolchak. Bernie shows up and shoots at him, but fortunately they have a fight. Another fight breaks out, and then they do the old pull. The dawn breaks. Hello, Dawn. And, he's, They can't afford him disintegrating, or his flesh peeling. So, see, there he is. Bernie's helping out. I like that shot, the way that, and then he drives it. Kolchak kills him. But they've got, You see him, he's dead. They could have just let the sun melt him, right? Turn him into ash, cut his head off. So he's typing up the story. He's sure he's back. He proposes to Gail. And off he goes to give his story to Vincenzo, who's like, I want to see you downtown, Carl. Probably give you accommodation or something. And you're a hell of a reporter. He goes in. They have an arrest warrant for him because he killed Scorzeni. He's like, what? It's like, this is it. You leave town and we won't arrest you. But if you come back, you're toast because they'll put you in an asylum. And then he says Gail has left because they don't want undesirable elements in Las Vegas. Oh, that probably hit really funny back then too in 1972. He's like, all right, I'm out. And he leaves. So he's still narrating, and that's it. He's headed, well, he could be headed also east now on the 40 probably. There he goes. I've been on that once, and it was hot. Not in, maybe. So he's finishing up his narration there. You know, be careful when you go to bed at night. You may not be safe. Great movie. It's so much fun. There's so many people that you know in there, Claude Akins and you know, just people you've seen in all of them. And Darren McGavin's wonderful. I mean, I wish that the Night Stalker had made more, you know, and survived 3 seasons. That'd have been fine. I think it would have run its course by then if they'd have done it in that same formula. But you know what to do if you are leaving.
A tidal wave of terror engulfs the screen as a raging monster from the dawn of creation attacks the world of man. West Coast reels under Holocaust as the men and weapons of the atomic age battle to the death against the ageless monster of the deep.
All right, my fellow agents, tomorrow we have the finale of Symbionic Titan, and boy howdy, it's such a great series. Really, we need to wrap it up because we need another 20 episodes here. So that's all I can say. But until that next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out. And remember, the sun always sets on vampires, because if it doesn't, they turn into ash. Be seeing you.